With great power comes great responsibility, and sometimes crippling gambling addictions. Today we're going to discuss whether Kinji Hakari is truly deserving of the title Special Grade. Hakari is one of the coldest characters ever produced by Jujutsu Kaisen, and it really shows by the way he dominates my TikTok.
Always bet on Hakari.
We're going to break down his strengths and weaknesses, as well as what it means to be a special grade sorcerer before finally concluding where he belongs, and spoiler alert, I don't think it's special grade, in case you couldn't tell that by the glaringly obvious title. Hakari's grade is never stated in Jujutsu Kaisen, which is a surefire way to pique the fans' interest, especially when they hear Gojo say that he could even match him at some point. From the way his friends talk about him, and from what he's shown us so far, there's no denying that Hakari is an incredibly strong Jujutsu sorcerer. In fact, a lot of people think that Hakari isn't technically graded because the Jujutsu higher-ups just hate him. And to be fair to them, Hakari has definitely proven to be somewhat problematic. He beat up a higher-up on the night parade of 100 demons, earning him a suspension, and then he also used his downtime to build an illegal Jujutsu fight club. Yeah, I can't imagine the Jujutsu higher-ups like him that much. Not to mention the fact that he forgot to set his alarm for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 and slept through the entire Shibuya arc. Bro was literally streets away from this. Honestly man, he's nearly as bad as Yuta. Anyway, the main reason I think he's neglected by the Jujutsu higher-ups is due to his technique, which is based on gambling. The 104-year-old skin bags hate anything that is non-traditional. For example, an OP technique involving gambling. So this basically means that we're not gonna get a grade for Hakari, so we're gonna have to decide it for ourselves. Before we discuss his crazy curse technique and domain expansion, we're first going to look at some crazy impressive attributes that he has. Not only does Hakari have very high output, but also a cursed energy trait that further improves his reinforcement's effectiveness. His cursed energy has an edge, meaning it feels very painful and sharp when you get hit with it. It doesn't necessarily deal more damage, but the fact that it causes more pain means that he can tire out his opponent much quicker. I mean, it even hurt Yuji Itadori, who is like one of the most durable characters in the whole damn show. Hakari's high cursed energy output means he has great reinforcement, allowing him to deal impressive damage with basic attacks. He is also incredibly fast, being able to narrowly save his face from a lightning blast from Kashimo. Not to mention the fact he is so fast that he barely gives Charles Bernard any time to react, despite him literally being able to see into the future. When in Jackpot, Hakari's output is probably even more impressive due to having unlimited cursed energy. Speaking of Jackpot, let's quickly break down his completely busted curse technique and domain expansion. In fact, his domain is so broken it even damages the reader, temporarily turning them into a vegetable as they try and decipher what the f this game is. I have a pretty decent grasp on how the game works, but to be honest, it's really not important. It's much easier to think of it as a simple slot machine where you want all the same numbers. Hitting a jackpot with certain characteristics, like even or odd numbers, then gives Hakari bonuses, for example, increased probability or faster spins for the next time he opens his domain. Hakari's domain is imbued with his technique, similar to Higuruma. The two are one. Random note, but I find it hilarious that Hakari can manifest his visual effects in real life. Like, what did Yuji think when a sorcerer said to be stronger than Yuta just chucked a train door at him out of nowhere? Anyway, Hakari's guaranteed hit is harmless, but acts as a super mini infinite void. The complex rules flow into the opponent's mind, buying Hakari enough time to start spinning and try and get a jackpot. The base chance of jackpot is 1 out of 239, so you may wonder how the f he manages to get one before his opponent just crushes him. Well, the answer is very simple. He's lucky. That's it. No reverse simple domain amplification technique explanation. He is just simply very, very lucky. So lucky that he has never needed more than 30 spins when he is really trying. Hell, Kashimo practically killed him, but he just happened to get jackpot on the first spin. Just don't question it, okay? Accept it. That's what makes Hakari so amazing. When Hakari gets jackpot, he gains infinite cursed energy for 4 minutes and 11 seconds. His body also reflexively performs reverse curse technique at the highest level, allowing limbs to be fully regrown in an instant and even for toxins to be removed, which is a very difficult thing to do. Unless you can completely obliterate his brain in one attack, he is unkillable for 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Even compared to the strongest grade 1 sorcerers, Hakari's jackpot is clearly a step above the rest. Jujutsu Kaisen is incredibly matchup dependent, however. For example, a first year like Kugisaki is a much better matchup for Mahito than a stronger grade 1 like Nanami or Meimei. So yeah, Hakari is a much more problematic matchup for Kashimo than most others. That being said, I can't think of a single other sorcerer below special grade who could beat Kashimo. So we can at least conclude that Hakari is well above any number grades. Gojo also implies that Hakari will be on par with him someday, but frankly I don't see it. Gojo's claims are less for the purpose of determining another's strength and more about emphasizing Gojo's character and his goals. How he is training up the new generation to revamp Jujutsu society and be the collective strongest instead of anyone being the strongest in isolation. So take his comments with a little pinch of salt, even though it does still hold a lot of weight, the fact that Gojo holds him in that high regard. So now we are left with the question, is Hakari actually a special grade sorcerer? And the answer is yes. And no. Yes, because he is way beyond any grade 1 sorcerer by leaps and bounds. He can challenge opponents that you would normally only send special grades to deal with, like Kashimo or Orame. Also, when I think of what makes special grade sorcerers so special, it is their unusual and completely busted abilities. And for that reason, I would definitely classify Hakari's technique as special grade worthy. Hell, infinite cursed energy and unkillable are the words used to describe him. If that isn't special, I really don't know what is. However, if he was officially considered a special grade, I think he would easily be the weakest among them. He's honestly in some kind of grey area between the highest of grade 1 and special grade. And I think this is because Hakari has one key thing missing that all other special grades have. Yuki Sumoko almost definitely is the hardest hand-to-hand hitter in all of Jujutsu Kaisen. Not to mention, she can literally destroy the earth if she ever decided that sounded like a fun time. Geto also has a multitude of cursed spirits with different abilities, not to mention a maximum Uzumaki, which deals devastating damage. Yuta has a variety of copied curse techniques in addition to a massive output beam attack and the Queen of Curses. Gojo has max blue, red, and hollow purple, and we all know how dangerous those can be. All of these are offensive abilities truly deserving of special grade. As much as Hakari is a defensive god, probably beyond anyone except Gojo and Sukuna, he can't compete with special grades offensively. I'm not saying he's offensively weak, far from it. But compared to the level of other special grade attacks, he just can't compete, it's a fact. When in Jackpot, he has unlimited cursed energy and crazy output, but he can still only just throw hands. This brings us into our next reason for why he isn't necessarily special grade. It's about how Jujutsu Society actually defines special grade sorcerer. In Kenjaku's fight against Chozo, he explains that special grades are deemed as those capable of wiping out an entire nation single-handed. Yuki Sumoko, Suguru Geto, Yuta Okotsu, Satoru Gojo, and Ryomen Sukuna undoubtedly have the offensive potential to overthrow a nation, whereas Hakari definitely doesn't. I mean, let's be realistic. Black Hole, Cursed Spirit Army, Queen of Curses, Purple. Now, compare all of that to Strong Punch and Strong Kick. Yeah, you can't. No matter how OP Hakari's technique is for wearing down opponents in a 1v1, there is no way that he can gain the title of special grade based on its actual definition, even if realistically he can easily manage special grade matchups. Actually, looking back on my own analysis of Hakari, I think he hasn't been graded because Gege actually doesn't know what grade to place him in. He is way beyond grade 1, but still underqualified for special grade. Now, I love Hakari, and I understand he's an incredibly powerful character. Although, I think the JJK fandom in particular have a way of misunderstanding certain characters and their feats. For example, I reckon a load of comments are going to say he's obviously a special grade because Yuta said he's stronger than him. Unfortunately, a lot of people take interactions like this as irrefutable facts. For some reason, they forget that Yuta is constantly plagued by self-doubt. He is the second strongest to Gojo, but despite that, he is the exact opposite of him. He doesn't think in the same overconfident way, even though he could just wipe the floor with like 99% of the verse. For some reason, people also choose to ignore the fact that Maki immediately corrected him by saying Yuta is stronger. Maki is literally the definition of no bullshit. If you're gonna believe anything in this interaction, then believe that. Due to Yuta's statement here, Hakari versus Yuta has been a very popular fight. I actually wanted to make a separate video on it, but then I realized it would be like 2 minutes long and just get a shit ton of hate, so I'm not really up for that. So I figured I might as well just discuss it in this video. It's as simple as this. Hakari cannot touch Yuta. Fuck. It's as simple as this. Hakari cannot touch Yuta. Hakari's output is probably on par with Yuta's when he's in Jackpot, but at the end of the day, Hakari will be using Punch and Kick against Yuta and Rika, two of the most durable beings in the entire verse. Yuta simply has more variety and more powerful attacks. I mean, Ryu Ishigori himself, the man with the highest output in Jujutsu Kaisen history, was punching Yuta saying it felt like he was punching a damn water tank. So yeah, I think he can withstand Hakari's punches. Pretty easily actually, and there is no way he's being defeated by them. Due to Yuta having so much cursed energy and the ability to connect to Rika for 5 minutes, Hakari can't simply wear him down the same way he can in other fights. Granted, Yuta may actually struggle to kill Hakari, but he definitely won't lose. That's the main point of this fight. Fortunately though, this fight is never likely to happen, besides maybe like in training, so it doesn't matter. Now, some people will try and make the argument that Hakari is stronger because he beat no curse technique Kashimo, something very few others in the entire verse could achieve. However, I have two major issues with this very slightly brain-dead argument. A, Yuta would beat non-curse technique Kashimo, and I shan't elaborate because this is Hakari's video, so go f*** yourself. 2, JJK is matchup dependent, especially with sorcerers like Hakari. For example, Nobara is much better for Mahito than any grade 1, but far worse for literally anything else, because grade 1 sorcerers like Todo are just better. Wait, have I made that point already? Oh shit, I have. Oh well, the point still stands. Hakari is literally the best matchup for Kashimo due to him being able to just live. To be fair though, I want to give Hakari credit for being hella smart. This guy can do stuff like move his domain barriers, adapt to enemies' weaknesses, and even make bounding... What the f is a bounding vi? Binding vi's? No, English, bruv. And even makes binding vows mid-fight like Sukuna. Now, we still haven't seen the result of Hakari versus Arame, but Hakari lost his Jordans in that fight, so that's just an L already, I'm sorry. Again, JJK is incredibly matchup dependent. Any special grade would completely smoke Arame, but unfortunately, they are perfectly equipped to deal the jackpot. As shown when they froze and shattered Hakari's arm, all they would need to do is totally freeze him and simply shatter his head. Arame can definitely do this as well, since we have seen them totally engulf multiple people in their Frostcalm attack. Realistically though, Hakari has the highest form of plot armor in the entire series, second only to Sukuna, so he still wins this. Now please don't misunderstand, the point of this video has not been to hate on or demean Hakari. He is awesome and incredibly strong. All I wanted to do was discuss why he doesn't qualify for special grade based on the actual definition of special grade in Jujutsu Kaisen. I just wanted to point out that he is actually very offensively limited when it comes to comparing him to other special grades like Yuta, Gojo, Yuki, and Geto. I also wanted to draw attention towards how Hakari's fights are very well crafted by Gege. Putting him against Kashimo and Arame is a great idea, and it makes those fights much more interesting than they otherwise would be. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it didn't include the normal amounts of Yuta glazing and Sukuna hating. I promise I'll do better next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'ma send Toji's worm after you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.